Hi everyone, my name's Rachel and I'm a dog trainer and behaviourist based between Nantwich and Whitchurch in a tiny little place called Cumbermere. I started my career actually working for the RSPCA, and I've also spent time working for Dogs Trust, and that charity work was really helpful before I started working and running my own company. So I'm really sorry that I can't be there to actually talk to you all in person and answer any questions, but I'm hoping that I can give a little bit of kind of insight into what I do on a daily basis and what it might be like for you if you decided to become a dog trainer or behaviourist for your job. So the first thing to kind of explain is that I'm a trainer and a behaviourist, and the two are different. In the UK, being a dog trainer or a behaviourist isn't a legally protected term. So when we go to see a dentist or a doctor, we know that that person is a dentist or a doctor. Legally, if someone pretends to be a dentist or pretends to be a doctor, they're breaking the law. Okay, that you have to be, when you have to be a qualified doctor or dentist to be allowed to use that title. The canine industry is completely unregulated at the minute. So anybody on the street can say that they're a dog trainer or a behaviourist. And there is a difference between the two, but because it's not a protected term and because we don't have any regulation, a lot of people use the two terms interchangeably. So I would say at the minute about 90% of what I do is behaviour and only 10% is training. So the way that I think of the difference between the two is that training is what I do with kind of young puppies or dogs or pets that have no established problems. So it's usually puppies, so they're young, they've just not learned what is right to do. So we can teach them really simple things like sit, a down, how to walk nicely on the lead, how to come back when their name is called. When I do a behaviour case, it's very different, okay? And I'm what we call a clinical animal behaviourist. So I've spent a large amount of time studying. So after I did my first degree, I then went and got a master's degree in animal behaviour. And then I've spent a large amount of time shadowing other behaviourists and working closely with vets to get the level of knowledge and understanding that I need to be a behaviourist. When I take on a behaviour case, the dog or the cat that I see has to have been signed off by a vet to come and see me. Okay, and that's really important because in a lot of behaviour cases, that's when we're looking at an established problem. So something that is going on with the dog already or the cat already. So a lot of the things that I work with are things like fear, anxiety, separation problems. So dogs that can't be left in the house on their own, aggression problems. So human directed aggression. So dogs who are biting humans or dogs that are biting dogs. Okay, so there's an established behavior problem there. And in a lot of those cases, either there is an underlying medical component, so there's something physically or anatomically wrong with the animal that is feeding into why they're behaving that way, or because of how long they've had this problem, particularly in cases where dogs have got anxiety, it's lasted for so long that actually the brain anatomy, the brain chemistry has changed. And in order to help that dog to recover from their problem, I would need to work with the vet and the vet to give the dog medication. So legally, as a behaviourist, I can't prescribe medication for that dog or that cat, but the vet can. So a proper behaviourist, a clinical animal behaviourist, would work very closely with vets, and they would know that training alone isn't going to work. Okay, so a lot of the dogs that I see, the problem that they have is so established, has happened for so long, that training on its own isn't going to help the situation. We maybe need to give them some medicine to reduce their anxiety and their fear and to make them calm enough for the normal training methods that I would use with a cute, fluffy puppy to still work for that dog. Okay, so there is a big difference between the two. I prefer to do behaviour consults because I like to see the difference in the welfare of the animal at the end of what we've done. So when I start with the animal, I'll give you an example. I've been working with a really lovely dog called Jack recently. He has really bad sound phobia. So it started with he was scared of fireworks. Now he is scared of any loud noise. So if his mum and dad knock a pot off the side in the kitchen, he is terrified for hours. He is shaking. He is hiding in the ensuite bathroom. You can't get near him. He's absolutely petrified. Okay. We have now got to the stage with he has medication for fireworks, okay, to help him because they are so unpredictable and they, at this moment in time, do still scare him. But he's got to the stage now where he can have loud bangs on the telly and he just carries on eating his dinner, and he's nice and relaxed. And the difference in him when I first saw him at the house to when I went out on a walk with him the other week is incredible. And that's the reason I do the job, because his welfare, his whole quality of life has improved dramatically because of the support he's had from a full behaviour consult. So I would say, yeah, most of my time is spent doing behaviour consults, and they work a little differently to training. So when I do training, I tend to go to someone's house for an hour. Usually they've filled in a form beforehand and told me what they want help with. I rock up with some treats and we train the dog to do whatever it is they want to do. With a behaviour case, they get their vet to send me paperwork, they fill in lots of paperwork, and then I go and spend about 3 hours in the house with them or on Zoom like this, going through everything they know about their dog. So what happened when they were a pup? Where did they get the dog from? What's it like in this situation? What's it like in that situation? There's a lot of history taking because we look at the whole picture. I then go away and speak to the vet if I think there's any medication needed. And then I write up a big long report, usually about 20 pages long, which covers what is wrong with the dog, how likely I think it is for the dog to get better, and how we will achieve that. And a lot of that are what we call management strategies rather than training. Okay, so to give you a really quick example, a management strategy for a dog who bites humans would be to train the dog to wear a muzzle around strangers so that it is unable to bite a person and get itself in trouble. Okay, and ultimately what we want to do is change the emotion that makes the dog inside feel like they have to bite the person. Okay, but to begin with, for safety for everybody involved, the first thing we would do would be to train them to wear a muzzle. And that protects the dog and the human from getting themselves into trouble under the Dangerous Dogs Act. Okay, so a lot of it is management strategy. We do some training. Okay, so we don't just force the muzzle on an angry dog. We train the dog to happily stick its face in the muzzle. And then, yeah, we go from there with it really. And they usually end up with a follow-up consult, either face-to-face or over Zoom at the minute because of the COVID restrictions. And they send me lots of videos on WhatsApp and we keep in regular contact and we work through the animal's problems. Some of those clients stay with me for 6 months while we get through everything that has kind of been an issue for them with their dog. And in a lot of behaviour cases, there isn't just one problem. A lot of the time we find that pets have issues with multiple things. So because the underlying emotion might be anxiety, they might be feeling worried about life, that doesn't just make them scared of dogs, it makes them scared of dogs, it makes them scared of people, it makes them scared of lots of different things. So while we change that emotion, it can take a bit of time, okay, but it helps them in numerous aspects of their life. So they're the more serious things that I do. And they are the things that I see a huge benefit in, but I do also like doing the fun stuff as well. So some of the fun stuff that I do are things like parkour, and I do pet trailing and man trailing, which is why my company name is Nose to Trail rather than Tail, because I use scent work in a lot of my behaviour cases. So trailing is where dogs sniff out a missing person or a missing dog. And it's really good fun, but it also really helps dogs to build their confidence. So we do a lot of that with my clients. Parkour builds confidence and makes walks more fun. So parkour is a bit like urban agility, where we get dogs to learn to put kind of their front legs or their back legs on different obstacles. And I'll show you a little video of the beginning of some training of that. But yeah, it's all about kind of having fun with the dogs as well. So we do, certainly during lockdown, I've done lots of enrichment videos and ideas for people. So I'll show you a couple of those to give you a bit of an idea of some of the more fun stuff I do. Unfortunately, I can't show you any behaviour cases because I would have needed my client's permission to do that. But all the ones that I'm about to show you are nice, fun things, and all of the owners have said that they're happy for their dogs to feature. So we'll have a look. Okay, so this is a video of Harrington, and he is a lovely spaniel, and this was his first parkour session. So you can see from the setup his mum Beth has got in the garden that she likes to do a lot of stuff with her dog. So she's got lots of agility equipment already, and this was a ramp for getting him in and out of the car. So what we're teaching Harrington to do is a level 2 parkour behaviour. So parkour starts at level 0, then goes to level 1, level 2. Level 0 is really for young pups, so pups under 6 months old. And then level 1 is where most dogs would come in. Each of the levels has set behaviours that you have to teach the dog to do. You could call them tricks if you like, little tricks they have to learn. And the one we were teaching Harrington in this session is to walk backwards and put his back legs onto an obstacle. So I'll just give it a little play and you can see some of the more fun stuff I do, which I do enjoy doing. And actually it does have a purpose for this dog because he had a bit of a strange issue with his back legs that took a lot of getting to the bottom of, and he did see a behaviourist, but he also saw a vet and had lots of scans and treatment. But we were trying to increase his awareness of his back end. So although parkour is for fun, it had a functional purpose in this case of getting Harrington to kind of understand where his bottom was going because he didn't pay much attention to it. I'll stop that there because we could watch Harrington all day because he's very cute. But that's one of the things with parkour, so is teaching a dog to go backwards onto an obstacle, to a raised obstacle. So Harrington, that was his first ever session of parkour and he did amazingly. And it is really good fun. So that's one of the things I do. I'm conscious I don't want to take up too much of your time, and it's really strange not being here in person for you to ask questions to. So I'll just show you some of the stuff that I did in lockdown really briefly. So obviously during the first lockdown, I couldn't work face-to-face with my trainer, with my clients as a trainer. But there were lots of dogs who were struggling with the fact that they were only allowed out for 1 hour of exercise a day. So what I did was, for the first 50 days of lockdown, I put up a short video every day, using stuff in the house, so free stuff that people should already have had around. So basically raiding your recycling bins to create fun toys and activities for your dogs to do. So one of the, probably the sides of being a dog trainer that people don't expect is how creative you need to be. So let's have a look at my 2 dogs having a go at some enrichment.
Clever boy.
Okay, so hopefully that gives you a little bit of an insight into the kind of things that I do as a self-employed dog trainer and behaviourist. If you're interested in finding out more about doing this kind of thing as a career, then there's some organisations I'd really recommend you looking at. So although you don't have to be a member of these organisations to be a dog trainer or a dog behaviourist, they certainly help. They're accredited, and they're ways of kind of standing out from other dog training professionals. So there's the Association of Pet Dog Trainers, the APDT. I'm a member of that, and that is a force-free dog training group. So everybody who's in that group has been thoroughly assessed, and we use reward-based training techniques. So for dog training, look at the APDT. If you're interested in doing the more kind of scientific-y, digging deeper behaviour stuff, then have a look at the APBC. Okay, so the Association of Pet Behaviour Counsellors. They're a really good organisation, and again, really rigorous testing to get to be a part of them. But anybody who's on the APBC as a member is someone that you know is going to use ethical methods and always have your dog's best interest at heart. So if you're interested in doing that kind of work, have a look at it. Otherwise, you're more than welcome to get in touch with me. You can find me on socials as Nose to Trail. So it's Nose to Trail Pet Services on Facebook or Nose to Trail UK on Instagram. And obviously there's loads of cute dog pictures. But if you have any questions about doing this as a job, you're more than welcome to ping them over to me on there. Otherwise, if you pass them on to your lecturers, I'm sure they can get them over to me. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. Good luck with everything, and I hope that you can have some actual in-person visits from people in the not too distant future. Take care.